Come into a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Notice if your hips are tight, you might find yourself leaning and rolling forward. If that is happening, reach back, grab all of the fleshiness out from underneath you, pull it out towards the back, and then do the other side. So now you're getting a more natural pelvic tilt. You can concentrate on bringing your belly button in, and then lifting your shoulders, and keep lifting your shoulders, keep lifting your shoulders, and then let them go. And then start to move around a little bit. So while I don't want you hunched over here because of tight hip flexors, I also don't want you so straight up that your belly is flopping forward and you're hyperextending into your lower back. So try to find kind of a natural curve. Now close your eyes again. Inhale deep. Exhale, release. Start to move one hand onto your belly, one hand on your heart. And continue that deep breathing, filling the space in your hands. So you're going from this place of nothing to a place of something. And what this something is, you're not attached to, you're not gripping, you're not grabbing, you're just appreciating its presence. On your next inhalation, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. And then release your breath. Let it come back to a natural state. But keep in mind that deep breath. So our natural state is a nice calm inhalation and exhalation, but sometimes we let that go. We kind of forget that. So don't forget, remind yourself about this beautiful natural breath. And then bring your hands to your heart center. Bow slightly towards your fingertips. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale one more time and we're going to make the sound of Om. Om. We're going to make the sound of Om again. This time, concentrate more on the ending than you do on the beginning. So think about that at the end and the vibration that that creates. Inhale, take a deep breath. Om. And then relax your hands. Relax your head, your neck. Shake out your legs. Shake out your body. And we're gonna come over onto all fours. So hands and knees. Shake out your hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide. I'm gonna keep my toes curled under here, and I'm gonna inhale, lift the heart, lift the face. And exhale, round the back, tuck your chin, shake your head. Inhale, try again. And exhale, release. Now close your eyes and move back and forth. Any little areas of tightness, wiggle and stretch into them. And then come back up to all fours. Now from here, relax your toes. Inhale your left arm up, look at that hand, and then we're gonna thread the needle all the way through. Come down onto your shoulder, walk your fingers up behind you, and use your fingers to help propel you as you twist and lift your heart center. And then come all the way up. Shake it out. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Right hand's gonna go up. And then thread it all the way through, coming down onto your shoulder. And then this left hand comes behind you, and I walk my fingers back and open the left side of my chest towards the sky. And then come all the way back up. Shake it out. Push your hips back and keep your toes curled under. Then walk your hands forward and let your chin come down as you lift your hips up a little bit. And then start to sink your hips back and down. And then release that into a full child's pose, releasing the toes, letting the hips drop back and down. Then look up into your hands. On an inhale, come all the way up. We're gonna take that left foot through. I'm gonna tuck those back toes under again, and I'm just gonna start to walk my body up. Nothing crazy.
I can walk now because my nails are dry.
Okay.
Want to feel them?
Yes.
But they're a little
Yes.
sticky.
Okay, that's good.
Can I have something to eat?
Yeah, in just a minute. Inhale your arms all the way up. And then exhale your right hand down. Left arm up to the sky and twist. And then come back to the center. And from here, we're gonna move to a downward facing dog. So lift that that back knee up and start to lift your hips and kind of move into your joints. And then shift back, plant your hands, and take your left foot back to meet your right. So now you're in a down dog. If the backs of your legs are tight, keep your knees bent. Good, and then come back down onto all fours. And we're gonna take the right foot forward, back toes are still curled under, and we're gonna come up nice and easy into that lunge. And then the left hand is gonna come down, right arm's gonna go up for the twist. Back down. We're going to make our way back to down dog. Lift the back knee, shift around. When we become locked and then we try to move within that lock, it's like you're the Tin Man trying to move joints around. So if you start to move around a little bit and get fluid, then when you ask your body to go, it's a little happier. Downward dog, close your eyes, spread your fingers, let your heels start to move back and down. And then shift your shoulders forward, almost to where they are over your wrists. Bend your knees and start to walk up. And forward fold. And bend your knees. Yeah. And then put your hands on your thighs and walk up nice and slow. And then we're gonna just start to open that up and move here. We get really tight right here. We get really tight right here. And one way to keep all of that loose is to move it. And have fun with it. Because I can guarantee you, if you're trying to do moves like this, but your face is overthinking it, and you're stressed and you're tense, then your body's not going to relax. So relax your face, bend your knees, shift over side to side. And then bring your knees down. See how my knees don't go over my ankles. Hands come onto the thighs. And we're gonna twist. Lots of spinal movement here. But you also get some shoulder and upper back stretch. Good. And come back to the center, straighten both legs. So now we're gonna move into triangle pose. So I'm just shifting a little bit. This is my back foot. I'm gonna keep it pointing towards the camera. My front foot is gonna point towards the front of the room or my mat, and I'm gonna start to shift my hips back while leaning my shoulders forward. That's all I'm doing. And then come up and twist it and try the other side. Same thing. Might get a little more movement depending on the side. Good. Then come back through the center. We're going to do it again. Twist the feet, shift the hips, lean the shoulder, lean the chest, pull in through the belly. Good. Come all the way up, twist, try it again. And then come all the way up, shake it up. Okay, so this time we're gonna try it here. Hold the belly in. Now this time shift the back hip back so you're releasing your tailbone. Then your arm can come, maybe even hover, and the other arm pops up. If you need a little support, you have your shin, your ankle right there. And then bend that knee. Come all the way up, twist it around. Second side, same thing. Shift the hip back, but unleash your tailbone at the same time as lifting your belly. Yeah, so now you're supported. If you need extra support, then you can come down and relax with that hand on the ankle or the shin. Not really relax, but you know what I mean. Bend the knee, come all the way up. And then toe heel together, shake your hips. So I was reading earlier about how Triangle pose helps foster creativity, which makes sense because they say we hold a lot of our creativity in our hips. And if you're doing this in the way that I'm showing you, you should feel a lot of opening here as well as in your inner thighs, and your hamstrings are going to feel it. Make sure you don't lock out that front knee. So lastly, we're going to come back and down to wherever you are. If you were hovering, we're going to bend that knee. We're going to take the hand back to the floor or a block behind us, then straighten the leg. And this time we're going to add in this element of chest, heart opening. And then to come out of it, bend this front knee. Just slowly come out. Okay, shake it out. We're gonna do the other side. So to me, this is where the ultimate creativity comes from, is that last little piece, that last little opening. So try it out. And hang here. You can bend your knee, you can stretch, you can move. And then we're gonna come out, bending that front knee so we get some nice cushion for the joints, and then move your body. So it's hard to be creative when you're sitting at a desk, when you're sitting at a table, when you're hunched forward. So one thing to do if you're at a desk in front of a computer trying to be creative is to roll the shoulders back, lift the heart center, right? And then start to move through your hips. So we're gonna move down into a pigeon pose, and I'm gonna go from standing. You can always come from a seated position to try and come down here. And then when I get here, I like to move around. I don't like to be too static. And that's how I start to find that freedom in my body. A couple of nice deep breaths right here in pigeon. But to come out, we're gonna come back out exactly like we got in from the lunge. If you want, you can always just switch legs at your own pace. But this adds a little more strength into it. If you tuck your back toes under, lift your body, power it up, lift your core, and then come into the second side. Yeah, and then move it out. And then work your way down. So finding that freedom, it doesn't mean that you have to be loosey-goosey and flail yourself from pose to pose. It means that you can move liquid-like from pose to pose, but you know and you're confident that you have the strength to support those actions. That to me is that ultimate liberation, that spadantria. Okay, we're gonna come all the way up, roll it around, and bring the soles of your feet together and move here. Good, inhale, lift up into the crown of the head. Exhale, fold forward. And then from here, we're gonna come all the way up. And I'm gonna try to find a way to shoot this that's not too awkward. Keep your feet exactly where they are. Walk your hands behind you and come all the way down. Knees are still out wide. Arms come beside you, palms facing up. Roll your head and neck side to side. So if this is uncomfortable for you because of any tightness in your hips, inner thighs, feel free to put a block or pillows or even blankets up underneath your legs for support. You can also, for an extra treat, put a bolster block blanket, couch pillow up underneath your back. When you get here, close your eyes, find your breath. And start to take your knees up together. Walk your feet out just a little bit. And we're gonna let both knees move over to the right. Both shoulders are staying on the floor though. And if you want, you can look out over your left hand. And then come all the way up to center and let your knees move over to the left. Looking out over your right hand, close your eyes, breathe. And then come all the way up. And this time, rock and roll, so you're moving side to side with your knees. Windshield wipering them. And then come back to the center, right foot onto the left thigh, hands up underneath the left thigh or reaching over the left shin. Whichever one feels good for you. And I like to do a little rock and roll here as well. And then when I'm done with that, I find a spot in the middle to hang out, close my eyes and breathe. And then I'm gonna let this left foot come all the way to the mat. And I'm gonna push my right knee out. And then keeping my leg in this exact same position, I'm gonna roll that foot all the way to the floor. So everything stays the same, it just rotates over to the side. And you can have your arms out here, or you can keep your hands wherever they're comfortable. I think this feels really good. I feel it right here. And then I also get a really nice massage in my lower back. Deep in that hip. And I always feel this one if I hold it for a good long time, which I'm not gonna do today during class, but you guys, after, you can totally play with this and see about holding it for a couple of minutes on each side and find that nice deep breath throughout. It's a really great release. But for now, we're gonna come all the way up. I always like to kind of wiggle and then release, shake it out, and then I'm gonna prepare to do it on the other side. But first I'm gonna start with the figure 4, however you like to do that. Really getting good hip stretches today. I mean, if you're at home fostering that creativity, why not? Maybe you go write something, go paint something, or even come up with a creative project to do around the house. Good. From here, I'm gonna release foot to floor, and then this foot, this side you might be able to see better, is gonna come all the way down to the mat. This knee's gonna stay up. So if I need to, I can use this hand as a prop for support. I could also just put this hand on this foot and let that hip start to release. And you don't even notice you're holding it until you start really finding those big exhales. Start to come all the way back to center. Grab both knees in, give yourself a hug. We're gonna do one more really, really good feeling pose. I love this one. Ground into your feet. Start to lift your hips like you're coming into a bridge pose, which you are. You're in a bridge pose. And then roll your shoulders up underneath you, interlace your hands, and let your hips come all the way down onto your wrists. Take your head and neck side to side. Really, really nice way to start to release your shoulders, the back of your neck. And then push down into your heels to lift up. Take your hands up from underneath you, shake it all out. So you have a couple different options here. Option one, take your legs straight to the sky, flex your feet, relax your hands, and hang here. It feels really good. Option two, scoot yourself to the wall and do this at the wall. You don't have to see me. You can just go do it and listen. We're not gonna do anything else crazy. Option three, if you want, you can put your hips on a block and lift your legs up, or you can start to walk your hips up onto your hands and maybe support yourself here into a little supported shoulder stand or a full shoulder stand. Wherever you are, find your breath. Don't move your head and neck around like I just did. And when you're ready to come down, windshield wiper, and then release your legs, release your face, roll your head and neck side to side. Drape your left arm over your body, and with your right arm, kind of give it a little weight to give yourself a nice shoulder stretch. And then do the other side. And then reach your hands up over your body and lengthen as long as you can. And then any last little bit of stretch you need to do before Shavasana, go for it. And then you stay down on your back. Close your eyes. Open and close your fingers and wiggle them around. And then make a nice tight fist with your hands. And then release it. And then point and flex your toes. Roll your ankles around side to side. And then release your feet. Open your mouth really big. And then shut it. Roll your head and neck side to side. Maybe tuck your chin and pull it up. And then release. Let all of your muscles completely go. as you take a deep inhale, count to 5. And as you exhale, release to 5 as well. Notice if your mind is starting to wander, rein it in and bring it back to this breath, back to this moment right here, right now. With each deep breath, you are completely resetting your mind, resetting your body. And you're teaching yourself how to mesh your mind, your body, your breath all together. And in this merger, you are creating not only the definition, but the purpose of yoga, to unite all of these things for a beautiful, holistic, well-rounded person, well-rounded life. And you have these tools with you at all times. It's just going back and remembering that. That's the work. And a common myth is that once you know this, then you will be good forever. And that's not true. You have to continue working on it every day. Just like if you're trying to build muscle. You can't do bicep curls one day and hope that your bicep muscles will continue to be strong for the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way. You have to work. You have to put in a little effort. It's the same with your meditation. It's the same with your breath. The same with this entire practice of yoga. It is a practice. So thinking that anyone has it all figured out, thinking that anyone doesn't have off days or slip, it's a myth. We all have to work. We all have days where we don't do the work. That's okay. We just remember. Journal, write it down, take a hot bath, get a massage, do yoga, meditate, breathe, go to therapy, talk to your best friend, drink wine, whatever it is. Those are all self-care. It's all the same thing. It's all how we remember. And the biggest thing to remember is that you're perfect. You are enough right here, right now, exactly the way you are. It's just that when you get a little off track, you have to pull in those remembrances. Do a little bit of the work. Be patient with yourself and give yourself that grace. Stay here in the Shavasana as long as you need to. I am bowing to each and every one of you. I see you. I love you. You are enough. You are perfect just like you are right here, right now. Namaste.